Poland's story in the 1900s shows how tough it was. For 123 years, it disappeared from Europe's map, split up by Russia, Prussia, and Austria. But Poles held on to their language, culture, and beliefs, dreaming of coming back to life. That dream came true in 1918, when World War I ended and Poland was reborn. But the new Second Polish Republic faced huge problems: borders that weren't clear, a broken economy, and the big job of bringing together lands from three different empires. The Poles fought border wars, and they famously beat the Soviets in a huge battle called the Miracle on the Vistula in 1920. This stopped the spread of communism into Europe. Poland's location was dangerous. It was flat, open, and stuck between Germany and the Soviet Union, both of whom were unfriendly and had big plans. To survive, Poland tried to be smart with other countries, signing peace deals with both neighbors in the 1930s. But staying neutral was tricky. The government, led by Marshal Pilsudski and those who came after him, put money into the army, knowing they might need force to protect their freedom. Poland's leaders knew that their country's survival depended on being ready and determined. The years between the wars were a careful balancing act, with Poland very aware of the dangers all around. Even with efforts for peace, the threat from Germany and the Soviet Union kept getting bigger. Poland's future would soon be tested in the fires of war. The world was about to change, and Poland was right in the middle of the coming storm. Their hard-won freedom was at risk. Hitler becoming powerful in 1933 broke Europe's shaky peace. He wanted to undo the Treaty of Versailles, and Poland was one of his targets. At first, Hitler signed a peace deal with Poland, but it was a trick to gain time for Germany to build up its army again. By the late 1930s, after taking over Austria and Czechoslovakia, Hitler demanded a city called Danzig and a path through Polish land. Poland said no to these demands. Giving in would have meant losing their independence. Poland stood strong, supported by new promises from Britain and France in 1939. For the first time, the Western countries drew a line against Nazi aggression. Hitler was furious. He ordered plans to invade, sure that Britain and France wouldn't step in. Then, in August 1939, something shocking happened. Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union signed the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. Publicly, it was just a peace agreement. Secretly, it split Poland between them. Hitler and Stalin agreed to cut up the country. Germany would take the West, and the Soviets would take the East. With this deal, Poland was trapped, facing invasion from both sides. The world watched in disbelief as two powerful leaders planned Poland's destruction. Everything was set for disaster. Poland's fate was sealed before a single shot was fired. The countdown to war had started. The world would soon see what happened next. At dawn on September 1, 1939, Germany invaded Poland. World War II had begun. The attack started with the warship Schleswig-Holstein firing shells at Westerplatte, while German planes bombed cities and important buildings. The German Blitzkrieg, or lightning war, smashed through Polish defenses with tanks and dive bombers, surrounding whole armies. Even though they were outmatched, Polish soldiers fought bravely, launching a big counterattack at the Battle of the Bzura. For a moment they slowed down the German advance, but Germany's stronger weapons won out. Polish forces, cut off and without air support, fell back to defend Warsaw. The capital city was bombed non-stop as both regular people and soldiers fought back. But the odds were too great. The siege got tighter, and hope faded. Poland's struggle was about to get even more desperate. On September 17, 1939, as Poland fought for its life, the Soviet Union invaded from the east. The Soviets said they were protecting minorities, but really, they were carrying out their secret deal with Hitler. The Red Army's advance crushed any hope of organized resistance. Polish forces, already beaten up by the Germans, were caught off guard and couldn't defend the eastern border. The government told troops to avoid fighting the Soviets and to retreat to Romania and Hungary, but everything was chaotic. Some units fought hard, but the attack from two sides destroyed Polish defenses. Warsaw, under siege and ruined, gave up on September 27th. The last Polish units surrendered days later. The September campaign was over, but the government escaped to another country to keep fighting. Poland had fallen, but its spirit lived on. After their defeat, Poland was divided between Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union. The western part was taken by Germany, the middle became the general government, a place where people were used and terrorized. The Soviets took over the east, bringing their own harsh rule. The Nazis targeted Polish leaders for killing, wanting to destroy the nation's culture and its important people. Schools and universities were closed, thousands were murdered in operations like intelligence action. The Soviets arrested and sent away countless Poles, leading to the Katyn massacre, where 22,000 officers and smart people were killed. For Poland's Jewish people, the occupation marked the start of the Holocaust, being forced into small areas, starving, eventually being sent to camps where they were killed. The takeover by two powers brought unbelievable suffering and loss. Poland became a land of mass killings and harsh control. It was one of the darkest times in human history. Poland's defeat was shaped by military facts, strategic facts, and political facts. The Polish army, though big, was old-fashioned. It didn't have modern tanks and planes, relying on foot soldiers and horses. The Germans' fast, mechanical war showed these weaknesses. From a strategy point of view, Poland's long borders made it impossible to defend everywhere. The army leaders' choice to defend the western areas played right into Germany's hands, letting them quickly surround Polish forces. Politically, Poland was alone. Britain and France declared war on Germany, but didn't offer any real help. This was called the phony war. The final blow was the Soviet invasion, opening a second front that Poland couldn't fight against. The government and army had to go into exile. Poland's fall wasn't because they lacked courage, but because of overwhelming force and being betrayed by supposed friends. No country could have survived such a big attack alone. Yet the Polish spirit was not broken. Even though it was conquered, Poland never gave up. Its resistance in 1939 shattered the idea that giving in would bring peace and forced Britain and France into war with Germany. Poland was the first to fight Hitler, a stand that was hugely important morally and politically. The government in exile led Poland's part in helping the Allies. Soldiers, pilots, and sailors fought on every front. Polish pilots were heroes in the Battle of Britain. Soldiers fought from Norway to North Africa, Italy, and France. At home, the Polish resistance was the biggest in occupied Europe, with the Home Army carrying out secret attacks and gathering information. The Warsaw Uprising of 1944 became a symbol of bravery and sacrifice. Poland's 1939 campaign was a sad defeat, but also a story of heroism and a strong will that wouldn't give up. The fight continued for 6 years with "For your freedom and ours" as their rallying cry. Poland's fall marked the start of World War II, and the lasting story of a nation that refused to be broken. The first to fight, Poland's story remains a testament to being tough and having hope.